Alright, I nearly forgot to do this tonight. Shit. Alright, we're going to continue the reading from Halbshrine at Midnight. I wish I could finish this tonight, but it's too many pages. Probably finish it next weekend. Alright, this first piece is called I Woke Up with the Words Lingering in My Mind. I said them to myself a couple of times, but what is mind anyway? What is a couple? Forgot to ask her if she'd seen it. Probably too boring for her roommate. All the things I've done, a trashy odor shared by the cabal, or was it some other form of group? Some other designation? To be in a group, to be a formative influence on a group. We look to you, Elder, for affirmation and inspiration. You blaze the trail that we now erect money-making enterprises upon. This one is called Reality of Anus. Morphological details aside, my own experience has proven adages both near and wide. Some lingering adaptation will confer the ratings and the drug's lotion to the flip your eyelids backwards boy. Name now forgotten, most blissfully. Biota detective drooled into the open pan. Your problem, he said ramifications-wise, is that you don't look back to review what's come before out of some misguided belief in outdated artistic philosophies. The pachyderm accepted most of this judgment, but had forgotten the rest by lunch. This one is called Paste Wheel Compressions. Milk mix on the menu. I met her again down by the Pont de Fix. I didn't know what she was doing there. She didn't speak French, so far as I knew. Her incomprehensible words could have been French, I suppose, but I'm sure I heard the Inuit word for helipad several times. The next time our paths crossed would be the last, I promised myself. The spirit of Andre Breton is strong with you, I mimed. She watched me with near indifference as she wiped her finger on the railing. Somewhere in the fog, the sound of a bendy bus. This one's called The Patterns Rain Surface Probability. Get the water up for any of the volunteers. Don't let them catch you without the proper mask. Gutter cleaning and repair. 2 kinds of gutters. Roll up onto the sidewalk. What's that over there? No one seems to know. They say he started off or out as a poet. I say he started up. But then there were obfuscatories and weird itchings. 3 kinds of itchings, don't you know? They sang together on a Saturday. No, it wasn't a house call. The play was turned into both a film and a television program. This one is called Audio Parts in the Rough. I had something to initiate the expulsion, but have now forgotten it. Funny words, funny songs. It's a new era now, isn't it? Your maturity has given you powers long sought after in your youth. Whom fellow you? Peace and patience, puissance and poise. These are the 4 P's of pod-like integrity. Once the 5th, the one from outside this pod of yours, has been added by some linguistic grafting procedure, mutant addition, then your journey will be complete. Normal behavior will seem shallow compared to scattershot stumbling about you will then attempt. This one is called No One Remained of the Original Inhabitants. Passage was achieved locally. No anhydrous locations or anagrams were manipulated. If Dan the Charger or one of his descendants had cobbled fruitfully the offal, it was not the uppermost floor that contained the essence. After pyramidal extensions, the lost and/or the substitution might be permitted and/or permissible, but I was told that the correct suffix was merely an attendant injunction, whole of obscurity, health with oil whales. You know, you have seen, your experience comprise the bulk of the exterior come off it. This one's called Share Bunting. The old newspaper days, the political conventions. People really were regular people, even back then, though it's hard to believe, hard to see through the formal clothing and stiff postures. It is said that Europeans do not smile much because a serious personality is more desirable. Grim determination and personal resolution are my trademarks, but I have to throw in some levity, some silliness for balance. Important to balance. You'll fall off otherwise. Lava down there or hot chocolate. Make your way around the room without touching the floor. Don't touch the ceiling either. This one's called Toleration Heretofore. The new guy was suspicious, eager to discover who was pissing on the walls. He certainly made a show of telling everyone about the acts he was so upset about. The new guy, already complaining about other people not doing their jobs. The new guy knew it all within 2 weeks. He wasn't even drunk. He wouldn't take his hat off, though. Already bald? He had no opinion on Ace Frehley. His opinions on national politics, however, were firm. He asked me, but I could only remember my parents' old house. This one is called... Oh, we may be able to finish... We're going to go ahead and finish this tonight. Okay, I'm going to finish this. This is called Number Skull. The band was proficient enough, intelligent enough, to stay together throughout the years of overwhelming unpopularity. There were no gimmicks, a white SG, no pretty boys. Inept cover art gave way to impressive graphics, selection of font, superb. A haggard collection of weathered men dedicated to a brutal art. It's gestural, one of them said to an amateur journalist. What does it all mean, yes? The way to make a karate fist. If it comes from Japan, it's okay, but if it comes from China, it is simply unacceptable. They lost their way in the old van. This one's called Flexible Status. She warned us that there were cameras everywhere. I could only infer that numbers floated above our heads as well. The merry assumption ran that somewhere my sociometric data was piling up. Such a good boy. But what's this? A dirty dime risen from the floor? Some diminution of standing would necessarily have to be inflicted. The only question was, who would make the decision? A human or a machine? And at this point, could there really be said to be any meaningful distinction between the two? What did this word meaning mean anyway? Values? This one's called Green Brains and Brick. The mass noun brick, in this case referring to a quality that one might find in one of the lesser-known clowns or minor artist of the small-eyed owl school, was itself brown in color, if such a characteristic can be or may be said to have color. Of course, it is possible that brown, as used here and there, is itself a quality not related to some visual or tonal trait, but perhaps an indicator of an emotional state. See blue, as in sad. Of the brains, we see the red. This one's called Special Expansion of Gum Organism. It looked like a semi-translucent oblong cube of purple. One might have mistaken it for a piece of candy, but it pulsed with slow, unthinking life. How long did it live? More than a century? How did it reproduce? More? How was it born? Its movement, its perambulation, was achieved over the course of weeks, moving from one side of the canyon to the other. Crater? Underwater? A dusting of God knows what seemed to suggest not. Some paralunar surface in the mind, a place of worship for the elders of another planet. This is called Bath Drawn for Someone Else. Other person's choice of products, ears ringing, a symptom of cancer. Say the word. Dismiss the fear. Who lives here? Is no one at home? Up the stairs. I remember that distinctly. Felt an odd frisson even then. So long ago, another state, up north somewhere. Sister just a baby. A horrible legacy. Guilt, fear, shame, regret. Horrible person. Should you take a bath in the still hot scented water? Carpet in the bathroom. Never had that at home. Place is probably remodeled by now. 2 old lesbians. This one is called The Dean of Supervisors. Everyone can be an important part of our team effort. Let noted progressive John Cleese show you how. And then the same old shit began. Somehow our portfolio outreached beneath a table which you can see here above the transit matrimonial statistics for April, and isn't it always April? So cruel, he said, but I don't trust a man whose worldview is completely informed by a despair over the collapse of the old certainties, built on lies, misconceptions, and old data. But, you see, by embracing against all logic Mother Rome, we can once again put these quarterly figures back on track and get our bonuses. All right, last piece in this little notebook. This is called Nuclear Veneer. Haven't you already been to the toilet tonight? Specifically that toilet. These questions form the basis for the initial preparations for your existence termination. Are you worried? Are you afraid that death is very near, very soon? Why? Optional. Fill up the box attached with a short essay describing your feelings, especially your fears. Did you have enough sex? What is sex in this context? Do you remember your grandmother's house? Horse paintings, the anvil, the city by the sea. It's night now, and the moon looks like a dandelion.